Good day, traders. This is Rich with some price action on the markets. We are looking at the Thinkorswim platform. This is my other platform, but I decided to bring it in for this video and probably future videos as well. Pretty wild day. We saw some price action move up, then move down, then move up, then move down. Pretty standard for volatile markets. And what we took today was one of our gap trades, a lot of gapping going on. So another imperial trade style that actually backfired in certain aspects. Now, what I mean by that is we looked at the gap at Norwegian Cruise Lines, which was just decimated over the weeks and popped pretty heavily yesterday. With the big news, they went up almost $6 yesterday. This is an ideal setup on an imperial trade as well. But today there's still a continuation of it. Unfortunately, I decided to get in a trade. I mean, this is just insane. That's a great move. Today, I was looking at the break of this first 5-minute candle. There was no pullback. It just opened, pulled back, just enclosed above, came down to this next candle. I entered my buy stop around 1750 here, and once it triggered, it got to around 1797, almost the high of the day. And guess what happened? Norwegian Cruise Line stock was halted. You can see down here at 950 halted. I was stuck in a trade, not large shares or anything, but enough to make me wonder what is going on. Just too much volatility, I guess. It didn't resume trading until 10:05, usually that 15-minute window they give it. There was circuit breakers. At that point, I pretty much just flattened the trade. And fortunately for me, I got out just around in this candle here. Not a huge gain or anything, but I had a nice little, profit. However, I believe if it didn't get halted, it was going to punch through 18 and head up to 1850 at least. Then once it was halted, I think people just dumped the stock, and it continued to stay down for a little bit, dropped from 18 to 14 and a half. That's a huge move. Huge move. I think the halting actually backfired, or unless there were some orders in there. You can see the volume here on this candle is extreme compared to this one. I mean, this was just a dumping. The sellers came in and pushed it down. Now, if you go through the rest of the day, it did come up back to around the opening price of 17. If you're willing to risk it, you could have gone in on these lower candles here. I mean, everything turned up to the green side. We saw a significant move to the upside, and then eventually it consolidated around the entry price, which is always interesting. It consolidated around the opening price. Pretty interesting on a gap like that. Huge gap. We're talking 13.5 to 17 and a quarter or so, 17 we'll call it. That huge gap on that. Price did fluctuate a little bit and then came back down and then challenged the highs, came back up to around the high of the day. Really risky if you were to go long at the high of the day, which is over here at 18. So it's pretty much that number. You can see we came up to 18, didn't get there. Right here, 1790 was this high candle, I believe, 1790, yep. And guess what? Markets took to a downside move, and it dropped another buck from there. So I bet you the sellers were just coming in hot, thinking this thing is going to drop off a bit, and they cleared a buck here easily on that particular trade. Not something we would look at, but as you can see, I would just want to explain to you what I faced this morning was a halted trade. Kind of set the tone for my day. I was a little frustrated with it. Not that I was worried I was going to lose a lot of money or miss out on a lot of money. It was just kind of one of those things where you have to take a step back and realize what's happening. And I'm okay at the end of the day that this happened, but just a little frustrating. And I moved on. I watched some other things. I did take a trade on my other account for a SPXS call option at the end of the day. We can discuss that real quick. Let's go to SPXS. Okay, so at the end of the day here, I did get in a buy on a stock. I bought the stock around this candle here, around 3 o'clock, looking for the push up because everything, it just was teetering. I didn't think it was going to get to a point where the SPXS was going to drop. So I was looking long on it. This meant the SPY was going to fail, and it did get up here. I did take a little bit of profit off the table here, but it just consolidated here. And once I saw it consolidate, we saw this the other day. If it doesn't make its move after this many candles, it's not going to push down. It just wasn't going to push down. We saw this doji low here. There was just the news wasn't really positive, even though we're making strides. The news isn't great. So this is where I was taking a call option. It turns out I was taking a call option for April calls, and I was trying to hold on to it for the rest of the week at least, to see if I can get a big move back to 25. Actually, these were 20 strikes, and it just turns out this thing just took off, and it took off to 19. So I almost saw 2 points in my favor. I got in around 1741, I believe, and it just took off, and I took my nice gain there and just got out. I said, okay, markets are making their move now. Tomorrow we might gap down, but I just wanted to I took my profits off the table. Didn't have to think about it. That was the fastest option call I've done in a long time. Just 4 candles of green. Beautiful move. I just set a limit order and got out. So that was my trade of the day for sure. Definitely made up for my first trade of the day, which was that just regular standard stock trade. And, I'll look for my gaps in the morning and try to find more plays like that and continue to share those with you. But I'm going to close it out right now. This is Rich, and this was some price action for March 25th. It's now 5 o'clock p.m. Enjoy your evening. Stay safe out there. It's a crazy world, and I look forward to sharing more information with you guys.